I gotta give as good as I got, Kristen.
Hey everyone.
What's up, y'all? We are here. We got IVC. We got Lastborn. Okay, baby. Ty. Man, there's a lot of people waiting in chat. Good to see everybody today. Wait, Cool Beans. Where's there a laundromat in the desert? How far away is it from your place?
He's not living in the middle of nowhere. He's got a Walmart nearby and everything.
I mean, there's Walmarts in the middle of nowhere, Kristen. Like
Where
there's
there's a
Walmarts.
Walmart, there's a laundromat.
I mean, okay, if it was a Walmart Supercenter, I'd agree with you. But if it's just a Walmart, that like they put those anywhere.
Oh, I don't think I've ever seen a non-Supercenter Walmart.
Oh, Kristen,
I know.
we got to get you out to the country.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll see how the internet goes today.
Who knows?
There's a non-zero
cares?
chance that things may go a little haywire.
40-minute drive for the laundromat? Dude, I would just be smelly.
Of course you would.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely used to it. Kristen, cheers with some apple cider, New England's finest.
Oh, you got apple cider already? Oh, I'm jealous.
Yeah, it's a apple
Pure straight
picking
sugar.
treat. Yeah, no, I like that's why I only have like a half cup because I was gonna be dramatic and bring the jug on, but when I lifted it up, I was just like, dude, I do not want to drink a quarter jug of apple cider. I'll get diabetes on stream.
That will be interesting to document. But is it already spiced?
Yeah, it's spiced. I mean, like, I don't have a refined palate, so I couldn't really tell you, but it's more full than apple juice. So I'm assuming it's spiced. You know what I mean?
Okay. I feel like we're totally talking about different things.
Wait, what?
I mean, like cinnamon and like nutmeg and other flavors that are not apple.
Well, yeah, but like apple juice is just like sugar water with like an apple concentrate in it.
Yeah.
This tastes like more than that. So I'm assuming it has like other things in it, but I don't have like I grew up white trash food.
You can't
like
tell
palate.
if there's cinnamon inside your apple cider versus
No.
no cinnamon.
No, we got donuts the other day, and I was just like, "Oh man, I like this apple cider donut." And she's like, that's pumpkin spice." I was like, "Oh, what's the
Well, I mean
difference?"
that's fine. Yeah, those two are interchangeable in terms of snackery.
Okay, so maybe I'm drinking pumpkin spice.
Okay, all right. But
What's up, Priyanka?
who else is having apple cider right now?
I don't know. I don't know if we got any New England viewers. That's primo cider season.
That's true. But
But
what are we talking about today? I did not understand today's topic as I was
we're talking
adding
about
Canva.
stepwells. I twisted Kristen's arm for this, but I think you'll appreciate
So hard.
it. So I sent you the Wikipedia article, which I'm assuming you didn't read.
I skimmed it.
So no. The okay, so a stepwell is this crazy architectural construct found in India, primarily like arid parts of India, and it's like a part well water source, part social center, part temple. And as the chat's pointing out, it's Diwali season right now, so I didn't intend that overlap, but I'll take the points. It is on temporal time. Yeah, happy Diwali, everybody that celebrates. Anyway, stepwell. It's like this crazy Legend of Zelda architectural structure that makes sure a dry region has water all year round. And you know me, I love metaphors. I'm a real metaphor man.
Oh yeah, I assumed that we were not talking about actual plumbing.
Well, I mean, I actually do want to talk about the plumbing because the engineering is fascinating. But the point is a stepwell allows dry regions to have water year round, and so when it's the dry season, you can walk down deep into these stepwells. There's like these big steps. I mean, it's a stepwell, so it has a bunch of steps, but the steps let you walk down really, really deep below the water table so that you can get water and kind of be in like a cooler environment when it's super hot. But if it's monsoon season, it just fills up like a giant cistern. So it like works well for both parts of the climate of that region. And over time, they evolved into these just kind of like hubs. And so I think there's a really interesting thread that you can take with your creative self and your creative acts, and like building a step well inside yourself, or like with a community of people, so that when it's the dry season for the stuff you're trying to make, there's
Hmm.
still a water source that you can reach for to do the stuff that you want to do. Obviously, that's something we talk about a ton. And so that's like the gist of it.
I love the metaphor.
And let me entertain everybody. I want to pull up a picture because it really does not do it justice if you don't look at it.
I'm also wondering if anyone in the chat has seen or been to a stepwell.
I think so. I
Have
think
you?
Priyanka and I were chatting about it.
Oh, is that how it came about?
No, so I found it
Hmm.
and then posted about it. Okay, so I'm gonna make this big for a second to spotlight it.
Hmm.
All right, look at this stuff. Like that's crazy. That's a well.
It's so fractal.
Yeah, like it's like this crazy beautiful architecture that just like it. I mean, it looks like it's straight out of Legend of Zelda, and I would not be surprised if there are like regions of the game world
Hmm.
that like are just fully yoinked from an IRL stepwell. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm imagining the character. It's one of those like maze levels where it's like,
Yeah.
oops, sorry, you can't actually go this way.
Yeah, it's like this crazy verticality filled
Hmm.
labyrinth type thing. But so I like heard the word. I was like, oh,
Hmm.
that's an interesting word I haven't heard before. And then I looked up these pictures and I was just like gobsmacked by how beautiful and intricate and crazy these are. And you can just imagine those being a place where people hang out when it's hot as hell outside. And
Hmm.
so, I mean, you grew up in a hot region of the world.
Yes, well, we hang out in these things called malls. Have you heard of them?
Yeah, no, the emo species also hangs out in malls
Yes, yes,
in
yes.
hot suburban Georgia. Um, but like growing up in the South, I viscerally understand how important it is to have somewhere to go when it's just hot as
Hmm.
hell outside. And so it just, I don't know, it just seemed so interesting. And I'm trying to figure out how to do stuff when I'm really tired and the conditions aren't perfect. And if I can have like an emotional stepwell or like a creative stepwell, that would be
Hmm.
like, I don't know, if I could figure out a way to do like the Sherlock Holmes mind palace thing,
Hmm.
except I step down into the
Hmm.
stepwell, I feel like my life will be permanently better.
Okay. So we can focus our episode on how to build said stepwell.
Yeah, your mind palace stepwell.
Yeah. Well, for me, I feel like maybe I've been subconsciously thinking about something similar, but
Yeah.
not so elaborate and not with a beautiful metaphor. Because I was like, oh yeah, I need more like motivational things around me. I'm in my live, laugh, love stage, but I wanted to show you.
Chicken soup for the stepwell soul.
Exactly. Like, so you know Maria Bamford, one of my favorite comedians. I
Yeah.
listened to her for like 45 minutes because I got picked, luckily, on Twitter to practice her stand up with her. And
Yeah.
afterwards, she gave me a T-shirt
Oh, that's
that
exciting.
ended up being a little too small for me. I was too ambitious with the medium women's size.
Oh.
And yeah, instead I framed it the other day.
Oh, that's so
It's one of
nice.
those T-shirt frames. So now I get to have this. Maria Bamford supports me in my journey.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah.
Does she sell those?
Yeah.
That's
So,
cool.
yeah, it's part of her merch line because she does a lot of work with people with mental health issues as well.
Yeah, sure.
And she has
Sure.
OCD and other various other things
Yep.
going on. So, but yeah,
That's
I'm trying
exciting.
to have more memorabilia that, motivates me and reminds me of like supportive people and stuff like that.
Yeah. And Dungeon Master points out the importance of like having people to support you when you're doing stuff,
Mhm.
because like I think, I don't know about you. I mean, do you consider yourself one of those people that in order to do the stuff that you care about, you have to be like radically isolated?
I make fun of you for that, but I think I do.
Well, I mean, it doesn't mean like permanent, go
Yeah.
live in like the cliffs of Ireland or whatever.
Mhm.
It's like for the moment of embodying whatever your creative self is, like you just don't want to be
Yes,
messed with.
because well, I think the reason why I do it is different reason why you do it. Because I think if I'm, like, too involved and, like, I love my creative friends and all of that,
Yep.
I have groups for that, but sometimes, if I'm too involved in, like, social media stuff, then I start to have, like, people-pleasing tendencies of, like,
Okay.
"Oh, I gotta do it this way because I think people might like that," and as you and I have discussed a million times, and it becomes a really non-intrinsic product.
What
So,
do you,
isolate myself means that I'm less
oh.
likely to do that.
So, okay. So, and is that a function of peer pressure or is that like a loop you get caught in where you're like, oh, this is how I become a better Kristen is by adapting to what I think other people want?
Uh, at least the things I make, right?
Okay.
Like, there's always this wish of like, "Oh, I wish people will like this, therefore I need to." It's almost like the way you would build like a market research product, which does not end up being
Yeah.
a good product oftentimes.
Yeah. 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 I mean, it's tough, especially in the age of like AI that anything that somebody thinks that they want, they can
Mhm.
probably get pretty easily these days, especially if they have a little bit of giddy up. I
Yeah,
don't know.
or feeling like, someone else has already made it,
Yeah.
which
Oh,
is
okay.
actually never true, but, like,
I mean, it's
it's
always
more.
true, but also never true, you know?
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, how
Like,
about you? When do you go into island mode?
so I don't do it because like audience capture isn't necessarily because that's like what you're describing is a version of audience capture, even if it's like,
Mhm.
it's like a peer audience capture. If I understand you correctly, I go into isolation mode because I think partially because I'm so easily distracted,
Mhm.
like, and not like distracted, like it's so I really like this quote where I forget who said it, but it's basically like a writer is a person for which writing is harder than for other people.
Seems very Mark Twainish, but I don't know who said it either.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like one of these like essayists who like writes about being an essayist type thing,
Mhm.
and I kind of feel that where I really love this thing and I feel really compelled to do it, but also I will let every single possible thing get in the way of me doing it.
Mhm.
And like I think there's a bit of like a fear of not like the gap between taste and style, but I also think there's like this crazy dopamine addiction that I have and like the dopamine from creative stuff isn't quite the same as like the junk food dopamine that you get from everything else.
Mhm.
And so like I think either I'm so addicted to like TikToks or whatever that I just want that guarantee versus the chat's diagnosing me with ADHD again. Oh man. Okay, so
We need to embrace it.
dude. So like I've gone down a couple
It's too
rabbit
bad
holes.
Dirty Hippie doesn't have prescribing power.
The like the rabbit holes I've gone down uh and reflected on. I mean, it's tough because I was like, how could this be possible? I've done so much in my life. I've like accomplished so much and I've never really like figured that out. And like when I look back at my past and bounced stuff off of some people and robots,
Mhm.
I might have just lived the first decade of my professional career in environments that imposed enough structure and imposed enough accidental solutions through like body doubling and everything that it just worked out. And so obviously I worked hard and did everything, but military college, military school, or like military college in the actual military, and then grad school, which is its own kind of like structured cohort type thing,
Mhm.
and that like all of that just forced me to focus the energy, even if my natural tendency wasn't that. So I got no idea. Um, there's definitely I'm definitely trying to come up with systems to manage my life.
Mhm.
Whatever you want to label it as, like you're probably right.
Yeah.
Um,
Oasis is a great question. What happens when you ask ChatGPT for your patterns on this over the last 12 months?
Pattern like patterns from it because it doesn't know my whole life.
Are you sure?
I mean, maybe I asked. I don't know.
I thought you have explored this with GPT.
Yeah, but not this specific question. Let me just
Oh,
ask this and see what happens. Oh, I'm trying to copy paste it. Dang it, chat. All right, I'll just type it. All right,
see,
Christian.
Isis, you're going right into Cameron's ChatGPT memory and
Yeah, let's see.
influencing his
Yeah,
AI
ask
neurons.
GP. What happens? Like, what are what? I don't. How do I phrase this question?
What have you observed as my patterns of behavior over the last 12 months? But
What
I don't know whether
have
you've been
you?
had ChatGPT for that long.
Is there? What? Sorry, what was that?
Oh, what have you observed about my patterns over the last 12 months?
12 months. All right, let's see.
I think now we have the neutered version of ChatGPT that will not
Yeah,
diagnose you with anything fun.
yeah, it's kind of dumb. The All right, so based on what I've shared, I identify as a multi-pillar operator. I build structured but adaptive systems.
Ah, so lazy.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, I had energy shifts based off of like crazy real life stuff.
Yeah.
Um, I interweave creative and entrepreneurship stuff.
Hmm.
I have emotional through lines of grief and responsibility, and have a lot of like a high internal locus of control. I emphasize continuity and memory with ChatGPT because it's bad at
Hmm.
that. I operate in seasons of intensity, is what it's saying.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I don't. That wasn't really that helpful. It was just kind of glazing.
We need to have a better prompt to not have the glaze.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, but
But
I feel like, we can explore like the reasons why it's happening now and all of that, but I feel like that might be a little, I don't know. I feel like I'm not sure if you like exploring that.
you're not
And
sure
we
if
want to,
so
because we
okay.
can never know. No.
Yeah, so there is you gotta. Oh, what's up, Voxel? Um, yeah, so like it's tough. Like the tough part is I'm never gonna get a formal test, and even if I did, they're not final. They're just kind of like, yeah, probably. You know what I mean? Like it's not like there's a genetic biomarker that's like, oh, we identify this thing, as far as I'm aware, right?
Correct.
And
Yeah,
so
it's just it's for the sake of getting the pills at this
yeah, and
point for most people.
yeah, and so I don't really want to introduce any, non-critical medication into my life at this stage.
Hmm.
Um, just
Oh,
just be
but oh,
yes.
I really interrupted you. I feel like you're not as exposed to my part of the Instagram world and ads.
Like
Where, like, the latest thing I'm getting, this is really annoying. Instagram's telling me I'm getting old because I'm starting to get the perimenopause and all that kind of stuff, right? Like
right.
that kind of ads, and
Yeah.
then like the influence I'm getting, the pressure I'm getting from society in terms of ads is that because of hormonal changes, even
Mhm.
if one has a perfect strategy, like this is where it starts to fall apart for a lot of people
Okay.
because biologically our neurons have changed,
Sure.
synapses or whatever
Yep.
that causes behaviors that mimic or is ADHD.
Okay.
And therefore, like, don't be so hard on yourself and also adapt your strategies because you cannot expect whatever worked before to work now.
Okay. I
So,
I buy all
and
that.
yeah. So, but then I feel like, you're definitely, not as old as me. And also, as a dude, well, dudes also have hormonal changes, but then, it's more like Joe Rogan, HRT kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Which, does also affect focus. I feel like that's something that they don't talk about as much. But, so it's possible that besides all the shit that's happening in your life, there are also biological changes that are happening as a natural part of aging that makes strategies not work as well anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I think all that's true. I think what Dirt Hippie is talking about of informing yourself is also very valuable. I like the reason I hesitate to jump in as like this is me explicitly is because I frankly think there's a lot of people that are better positioned to do that in a thoughtful way.
Mm-hmm.
And so my approach is to take strategy. So I try stuff all the time. I'm always experimenting. Like I'm always trying to find a better way to do my day.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that's existentially miserable. Sometimes it's really fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of like the process through which I go about my life is, oh, is there a better asterisk? What does better mean? It's really hard to say. Sometimes it means more efficient.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it means more peaceful. Sometimes it means happier. Sometimes it means more focused. But I'm always trying to find a better way to do stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
actually am in the process of implementing a new version of the creativity or the serendipity super system we talked about. But I'm not going to share that yet until I've tested it to be like, oh, this works for me.
Oh, we don't get a preview. Then what are we gonna
The,
talk about?
so the preview, I had a breakthrough at 2 a.m. the other night. I was
Oh.
feeding my child, and also Dirt Hibby. I'm very cognizant of these type of indicators for my son as well because I do think if not holistically, there are aspects of ADHD, autism, whatever, that at the very least, the solutions would have made my childhood better or less miserable. We had a conversation about that, about like me and my brother, him chewing with his mouth open, really sensory bothered me when I was younger. And like, there were reasons, like biological reasons for that for him potentially, in
Mm-hmm.
terms of muscular dystrophy. And if we just like had that, I don't know, I wish like my parents weren't or didn't think about any of that, and so I
Mm-hmm.
will be paying attention to that kind of stuff. So hopefully we can avoid some extended bits of misery for
Mm-hmm.
Teddy. But
Mm-hmm.
so I had this insight at 2 a.m. that big structured things don't seem to be working for me
Mm-hmm.
because I don't simultaneously have the internal will, discipline, mechanisms, whatever you want to call it, to design a rigid schedule and hold myself to it.
Mm-hmm.
I can like do one but not the other. I like run out of discipline energy at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And so now what I'm trying is focusing on making me visually cognizant of the things that I've committed to doing. And
Mm-hmm.
so like I joke about on the show that if I don't if I need to do a chore or an errand or something like that, I need to hide it under my keys, or I need to hide my keys under the mail I need to take out or the
Oh
returns I
yeah.
need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because if not, that task doesn't exist in my brain. It could even be on like a to-do list, but if the to-do list isn't out on the table, I don't see it doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I have adjusted my whiteboard over here, and I'll probably post a picture of it in the Discord of like all the things I'm trying to do, the cadence at which I want to do them,
Mm-hmm.
like interact with this thing, every 3 days, or do this once a week or once a month. And then I have a daily tally that I update with all of these things. And so I can at a glance be like, oh, okay, I have one more day before I can do this thing, or I have like 7 days before I have to do this thing. And then the order doesn't necessarily matter, but I think the way I've structured this is visually, I will focus on the things that are close to being at the due date.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I have the right cadence and I have like this visual tracker, maybe I do the things that I want to do. We'll see.
And are these things like smaller bite-sized pieces?
Yeah, so that's like the second half of it, where so the whiteboard is my big billboard notification of 1 day left or two
Mm-hmm.
days left. And then I have the sub list of, okay, what does working on writing mean? And I have a
Mm-hmm.
list of those tasks that I open up in my workflow, which is like my infinitely recursive to do list app. And so in there is discretized task for each of those things.
Oh, tell me more about this infinite discretized to-do list
So have we
recursive app. I'm gonna
we
go
for
to
sure
work.
talked about workflowy on this.
I think you briefly mentioned it, but
All
I
right, so
actually don't know what you do on there.
okay. Let me first of
And
all, let
I
me
think
see if
this
I can
gets
share
at
my
how
screen.
like some tasks, of course, like have actual due dates, right? But I think a lot of what you and I do, like there's no due date per se
Yes. I mean, but so that's why you got to impose due dates. All right.
that you
So
impose on yourself.
yes. This is more with like a 5-year vision.
Hmm.
Like the idea is if I want to, I mean, we've talked about this. I don't know if I've said it on the show, but I'm writing we'll say like a mild dystopian sci-fi fiction novella about like AI assistants. And so if I want that to be published in, let's say, 6 months, there's a certain amount of touch points I have to have with that book between now and 6 months from now. And
Hmm.
the cadence that is on the board is like, okay, I think if I work on it twice a week for 6 months, it accomplishes what I want to accomplish. And so like that's what drives the cadence marks.
Hmm.
It sounds more complicated than it is, but I literally just have like all the tasks, the tally since the last one, and then the cadence. And I even did tally marks, not numbers, so that
Mm.
all I have to do is just like draw another tally on all these things that I didn't do that day.
Do you have them in groups of 5, the American way?
So I went back and forth on doing it the Chinese way. Like I like the
You're
Chinese
doing the
way.
freaking Chinese way? What? I
So
wasn't
I'm not
expecting
do I'm
that.
doing it the American way, but I might switch to the Chinese way because I just think it looks nicer.
Well, I'm very amazed that you even know what I mean.
I mean, there's a big chunk of time I was in the army and I was like, oh, China's the near peer. I have to study up on China, and so I've gone down a huge Chinese cultural rabbit hole.
Wow. Okay, I am very impressed.
Good, I appreciate that. Um, okay, so what's up, Aliu? Thanks for joining us.
Teniola on Farcaster.
Yeah, and last
I'm
born, exactly right.
presuming.
I'm planning ahead. All right, so Kristen, let me show you this to-do list. I love workflow. I've used it for years. Um, Stop screen share.
It's a
Oh no.
sass.
Oh no. Oh no. Yeah.
I'm
It
so glad I
is.
had nothing messy, just like right outside of the frame.
Yeah. All right. So, okay. So you got here. I'm going to spotlight it. All right.
Mm.
So this is my unorganized one. So one of my recurring lists is to go in and organize this. But so we have OK Banger right here. If there's stuff in here, task 1, task 2, task 3. And if I like complete stuff, you can check it, uncheck it. And then if I want to do more stuff in here, we have another like, oh, whoops. My keyboard shortcutting is bad, but so subtask 1, subtask 2. Oops. There you go. And so now from here, you can just kind of see all the stuff that's in here. And so, and then
Mm.
it just goes down forever. See what I mean?
I see. So it's like an outlining tool that has collapses things as you click on them, and also you can check things off.
Yeah. And so like it's really flexible for just organizing. Like it's not good. They have like a Jira mode, with the task board. I don't
Hmm.
love that framing. But for me, this is the closest to, okay, get stuff down without overcomplicating it
Hmm.
that I've ever found. Like it's the only thing I've continued to use.
Hmm.
And I think it's just because it's so simple.
I would like that if it has offline mode, which most apps
It
do
does.
not. Oh, really?
There's a desktop app. I always have a Chrome tab open. So
Oh, okay. Maybe I will check it out.
yeah, I'm a big fan.
Hmm.
The and so what I do with here is like, okay, I have my writing bucket. I've bucketed my writing because I have like a couple different sources of writing. Littlefeelings.com, the poetry stuff is not in the writing bucket, but
Hmm.
Wiser essays. And I think I'm gonna start a very low touch dad essay blog because
Ooh.
I have a subset of stuff that I want to write about that I don't think fits for Wiser.
Hmm.
Now, obviously, the tendency with creative stuff is to just start a new project for everything.
Yes.
but I think it very like and I frankly I'm not going to say the name because I don't want anyone to steal the domain, but if I get this up, I will share it. Um,
So you're not splitting it off into its own project. It's a sub
no, so
project.
it basically my negotiation with myself is if I want to do this thing, it comes at the expense of more wiser essays.
Mm-hmm.
And so bucketing it that way means like, okay, you can like, you need to keep writing
Mm-hmm.
because that's important to you. And what's my cadence? Every oh, I need to but every 2 weeks I
Mm-hmm.
need to publish something.
Mm.
And so that means it could be either the dad blog or wiser. Did I have so much stuff? Like, the whole point of this is for me to get more stuff published. Like basically the discrete task is a published thing. The
Mm-hmm.
how matters less than, okay, it's been 14 days since you hit publish on something.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh, Misa says don't forget $5 Fridays at Unstoppable Domains.
I don't
I
know what
don't think
that
I
is.
know about that registrar.
Yeah. I mean, like I've looked at it. I'm pretty unfortunately locked in. Like GoDaddy sucks, but I'm like I have so much shit on there that I just don't even want to migrate.
Yeesh. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. But it sucks. Um, Eventually I will rage quit, but just not today.
Okay. Well, I think Cloudflare does it at cost for a lot of domains.
That's true. That's true. They do.
Yeah,
But like
but
the
it is a like a process. A lot of clicking involved to migrate.
yeah the But anyway,
So in terms of
workflowy is
Stepwell, it
workflow.
sounds like the workflowy and the whiteboard are now key pieces to your little steppy thingy.
Yes. And so this is like an advancement. So like previously what I had was all of these different buckets with like the stuff that I
Mm-hmm.
needed to do, like
Mm-hmm.
these tasks. But I just had a wall of things to do without a forcing function to do them.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I was missing the deadline piece of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think having a tallies over the number that I put up there will visually bother me enough to accomplish it.
Because it's like in your face.
Yes. Like I literally
Mm.
look up and over my monitor, I can see what I need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so hopefully that helps me. This is part of the, well, let's just call it the foundation that I'm digging down in my personal step well for getting things done. So these are the steps to get me down into there.
Mm-hmm. That's a great idea. I feel like my whiteboard is in a very awkward position, which is like that way. So I never actually look at it. And I
Yeah.
need something more like this way where I'm actually looking at it.
Like it's, so in the army, there's like this idea that you have to walk the line. And whether you're, a sergeant, like
Mm-hmm.
a platoon leader, a colonel, or like a general, you don't really know what's happening unless you physically go to the places that you're in charge of. Obviously, the general isn't going to be in the motor pool working on vehicles every day, but they should be going around to various parts of the units that they control and like
Mm-hmm.
physically being there,
Mm-hmm.
because then you can see, oh, this unit, they have their tools laying all over everywhere on the ground. Like maybe that's a sign of something else that's messed up in
Mm-hmm.
how they're running their operation.
Mm.
For me, my walking the line is forcing myself to see the things that I'm doing and not doing.
Mm.
And so I don't know. I'm really optimistic about this. It hit me like a ton of bricks at like, I was tired. Teddy wouldn't go back to freaking sleep.
Mm-hmm.
But I was just like, wait a second, cadence, tally marks. And then like he finally went down. I was like, I need to record this so I don't pass out and forget it all.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like under the covers, like a 12-year-old reading books past bedtime,
Yeah,
so the
yeah.
light wouldn't wake him up. Um, it's
So the difference here, I remember you have been using a whiteboard, a bulletin board of sorts for a while, but the difference is that you are marking off
yes,
tasks as opposed to just having them on a just the name of it?
So no, so it's like the difference is every single thing that I've claimed is important,
Mm-hmm.
I can see on the board in terms of like, uh, you know, pair the book,
Mm-hmm.
writing, little feelings, okay, banger. I have right under that a thing that I update every day.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm forced to interact with it so it doesn't fade into the background of, oh, it's been on the whiteboard for 7 days. Like it's not like hedonistic like adaptation, but like how stuff fades into the background after you've looked at it for a while, whatever
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
neurological condition is called. The it's like pile blindness, which I also think is an ADHD thing, or like
Mm-hmm.
if you see piles around, you just like they
Mm-hmm.
don't exist after a day,
Mm-hmm.
and so they stay and grow. And so I certainly have that looking around at the piles around me. But I think like this is my antidote to this task pile blindness, where I'm like, oh yeah, no, I worked on that recently, but it has actually been like 2 weeks,
Oh,
and,
okay.
and
I
now
love
I'll
that.
know for sure.
Please post it so we can all look at it.
I I will if it works. I'm not going to publish stuff that isn't working for me because there's
Uh, but you can never. How long do you have to do it before you prove that it works? You know what I mean?
two
Maybe
weeks.
it'll work for a while. Oh,
2 weeks. If I mark on this board for two
hmm
weeks, that I'm convinced.
okay, okay.
So here,
So we're a week in.
we are a day in. I
Okay.
thought of it 2 days ago.
Oh, okay. Never mind. We'll find out in 2 episodes.
The Priyanka.
Yeah,
Oh, they're like I don't know.
I'm
The
telling you, man.
the
That's I
gang
love what you're
diagnoses
saying.
the streamer. Dude,
It's like common lore in the ADHD like world, which I'm very exposed to because I get served that a lot.
dude, it's just I'm not opposed to it. I just feel. I mean, honestly, I feel a little
We should,
imposter syndrome-y.
right. So we should like do the thing where we think of different words with the same acronym.
What
We
is
can
what
we want to do it
what
right
thing
now.
is that? Misremembering acronyms? Like, what does that mean?
No. Like, for example, I was telling you about how like PDA. Well, I mean, it used to stand for the public display of affection, but now it's like pathological demand avoidance, right? In
News to me?
psychological terms, the pathological demand avoidance.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Well, it's a very common like ADHD term.
yeah.
Oh, ignore the very grug thing you just did, and like. But now, like I saw this another Instagrammer said, "Oh, it should be really called persistence drive for autonomy." And the thing is, the moment you rebrand it, it sounds so much better, right? Because like the pathological demand avoidance makes you sound like a child, but
Sure.
like persistent drive for autonomy, it makes you sound cool. But it's actually describing a very similar kind of behavior, right?
And neither of them are public displays of affection, though.
Neither of them are. Yeah, exactly. the old millennial explanation. So yeah, I feel like ADHD. We can come up with something that's ADHD like, but without the pathological association, and also because we don't want to claim a label that we're not officially diagnosed and part of, right?
Easy. A dude
Mhm.
hates dysfunction.
Oh, that's pretty good. And we
That's
can
funny.
have dudettes and other
Yeah.
non-binary terms.
Well, okay. Now I got to really, really show the millennialism. You remember Good Burger?
Yeah.
Like, I'm a dude, he's a dude, she's a dude. We're all dudes, Kristen.
That's true. That's true. Oh, that aged so well.
I haven't watched it in a while. Is it not okay?
No.
Okay.
There's been no cancellation that I know of.
I mean, Keenan and
Keenan's still
Kel.
around.
God, man.
Kel
I
is
think
trying to have a revival, though, of more of a
good for him.
Christian minister angle.
Okay, sure,
He's like a
whatever.
youth pastor personality now.
Him and Russell Brand. Ooh.
Oh well, okay. Like to Kel's credit, like it's very wholesome. No,
Okay,
not Russell Brand, not that kind.
right. Not a rebrand,
Yeah.
dude. Oh man.
Okay. Well,
But
I
so
feel
anyway,
like for me, the stepwell thing that has been helpful for me is hiring my friend as my job hunting career coach.
What do they do?
So, well, they're currently in the biotech and pharmaceutical industry, like
Yeah.
actually having a job and also coaching people on the side. So, like, she has all the insider information as to like, okay, what are the hiring trends? Like,
Okay.
how do I position myself? Like, given the, there's so many layoffs right now,
Yes.
and like going through my resume, and so for me, I can be sure that okay, is this good enough? Am I crazy? Am I supposed to be fixing this? Like, I have no like actual standard that's calibrated. So
And
that
I
helps me
mean,
move on.
let's be real. Even if you did, you would still be anxious about it.
Correct, but I can like move on to the next step of anxiety. You know what I mean? I can be
Yeah.
anxious about a new thing instead of being anxious about the thing that I no
Right.
longer like, is percentage wise is serving me, right? But I think the most
Understood.
important thing is accountability because I'm like, oh dude, I'm paying her. And I'm meeting her soon to
Yeah.
maximize my value. I better get my task list done.
Yeah, we do it. We also have a word for that in the army,
Oh, what is it?
an accountability buddy.
That's so like cutesy for an army term.
I know. So there's like a genre or like a category of army terms that are
Mhm.
like ironically cutesy
Oh.
because it's usually in like a training environment, and so
Mhm.
you infantilize as like a way of making someone feel like a dumbass when they're being a dumbass.
Oh,
And
great.
so also like battle buddy is like another version.
Mm.
So basically you should never be, unless you're like in a crazy special ops like situation, you shouldn't be by yourself. The
Mhm.
smallest effective unit in the military is supposed to be like 2.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah,
Do
I
you get
mean
to
like
choose your accountability buddy?
no. But
Oh.
so like, in basic training especially, you
Mhm.
don't want one person going off because best case they're going to get lost. More
Mhm.
than likely they're going to go fuck off somewhere, and like a person missing from a training environment is like everything stops and you got to find that person because the army's dangerous, right?
Mhm.
And so, you know, it's unlikely, but somebody could be leg broken in a ditch in the woods somewhere, right?
Mhm.
And so in some places it's kind of likely, especially
Yeah.
the kind of training I do. And so like if you don't have your battle buddy, it's
Mhm.
not like like, hey, don't do that. It's like a, hey, you're messed up, you're jacked up, and you got to fix yourself.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, and I
so
feel like the reason why the show is able to keep going is because
you got
we
our battle
gather
buddy
as
right
battle
here.
buddies
Yeah.
through this muck we're in. But I think that's why like these solo projects, like your
Yeah.
fiction and like some of my Wayframe stuff is hard sometimes when it's like too solo, or like
Yeah.
when I have friends that are very kind of build with me, but I also feel like it's a bit of a dance and it's not like a true like co-founder relationship where you are like sink or swim and have to take care of each other.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of directly at odds with what we were talking about 30 minutes ago, right? With
Mhm.
the radical solo artist energy.
Mhm.
And so there I also, because like we're both on creatives TikTok or whatever. And so
Mhm.
we get the kind of like in jokes. One I got the other day was you either die in a band or live long enough to become an electronic artist because you
Oh,
just
okay.
like because you can't play all the instruments by yourself. Yeah,
Uh,
but I mean the way that I mean obviously this whole system is me trying to figure out how to have myself as the accountability buddy or like offload that. There are some things that I really just don't want the help on because I can't speak in my own voice if somebody is nearby.
mm.
And that's why, and maybe this is like a mistake and I'll look back on it in 10 years
Mhm.
as like, oh, shouldn't have done it, but I don't really ask other people to edit my work or like look at it. It'd be different in like a publishing a novel scenario where there's like a professional editor that like
Mhm.
they have a job that they've practiced, but just getting people's opinions on my stuff, I've more or less stopped doing, even if I really respect their opinion, just because the things I have to say, I think are going to be different than other people I respect's things that they have to say. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah, I think you're good about that. because well, first of all, your work is good. So
I
if
appreciate
your work
that.
is bad and you're not looking for feedback, I'll be like, dude.
And
But
you get
also,
feedback anyway if people like it. Like if people like it or
Mhm.
they don't like it, it goes viral, it doesn't go viral. It's all data, even if like you don't like there's garbage that goes viral. So like you got to have some judgment in there.
Mhm.
But broadly having conviction in your taste while understanding that the world kind of gets a vote in how they perceive what you're doing, I found to be a pretty good balance. What do you think?
So then the stepwell's thing to do here is to make sure that you can access a pool of people who can give you feedback if you care
Ugh.
about that. I
Yeah.
know. I went there.
No, I mean, so part of the reason why I like the stepwell as a metaphor is that they're inherently social. And so
And why did you make that noise?
because I want to be mysterious and by myself and the mystical, hero whatever. But no, like other people exist and your ideas are better when they are amplified by other people, not just in terms of them agreeing with you, but like disagreeing with stuff, pointing out, like flaws, also being like, hey, this is like what I discover sometimes when I publish something is that certain parts of it that I don't care about will hit with people.
Mhm.
And like that's interesting because then you kind of like find aspects of how you think that you take for granted that are actually new for other people.
Mhm.
And you can't do any of that in a vacuum. And so,
Right, because even like, I'm trying to think of who I think of as a lone wolf artist or whatever. I'm like, oh, I guess maybe Kafka, but I'm like, oh, technically that's not true. He only got famous because his brother and his whoever helped him with the publishing afterwards.
well, yeah, I mean, like I think that's different because the creation of art versus the distribution of art is very different.
Mhm.
Um, like there's I don't know. I think everybody's actually on their own path with it.
Mhm.
And so like there's some incredible collaborations that exist out there and I would like to participate in that.
Mhm.
But that's very different like me and the things that I want to say are going to be very different than like if I had like a dynamic duo with, music or whatever
Mhm.
or like I just view it as different types of things that people want to make.
True.
Um, I also wanted to get into like I didn't expect to read this, but last night I was reading an article about this art critic commentator named Rosenberg. You ever heard of this dude?
No, but that's also a very common last name.
Yeah. And so he was like a famous critic through like the 40s, 50s, and 60s. I think he died in the 70s. He was friends with Hannah Arendt or Arendt, like the big intellectual about fascism. Um, and he was kind of like friends with the early, modern art, abstract expressionist, like splatters on a page, Jackson
Mhm.
Pollock type artists.
Mhm.
He c- commentated. He didn't necessarily like do a bunch of art himself, but he was like anyway, it was like this big long thing. I don't normally give a shit about critique related things because I mostly think critics, academics, and that type of commentating class. I understand the irony of commenting on commentators on a podcast, but like that class of people that just exist to like talk about other things, that's not valuable to me. Like
Mhm.
the people that do stuff is much more interesting to me. But and there's always going to people that want to. There's always going to be people that want to just talk about the stuff that's happening and mostly complain about it.
Mhm.
And so, but this guy, he had this like idea as a through line through all of the essays that he wrote that art needs to have some element of action in it. And like the action is sometimes it's the will the artist has on the world around them. Other time it's the art acting on the artist themselves. But the like nugget of what makes something interesting and valuable and like a contribution to humanity is there's like an action in the piece of art.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been thinking a lot about that since I read that yesterday. And it kind of fits into this stepwell piece in that you get water so you can drink it so you can do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm trying to figure out how to do more stuff with the stuff that I do. Obviously, step 0 is publish it because it
Mm-hmm.
can't have an act if it's not getting published. But once you start publishing things and getting things out there, how do you bring an intrinsic quality to this thing that like it's doing something?
So to paraphrase what you're saying, like,
Yeah,
is
I
there
just I
a
just
way to
yapped for a while.
make more out of what you've already made?
Sorry, say that again. I got distracted by Oge Bami talking about her butt.
What I miss took a few shots in the bum. I'm hoping. I'm guessing these are like
Medical shots?
medical shots or a new
Vaccinations?
way to imbibe alcohol.
I mean, that's not new. Frat
Oh,
boys been
that's true.
doing that for a minute.
Actually new. uh, we're just like
Crazy.
reputation with everyone else. So again, like yucky marketing term, like amortizing is the word that came to my mind. I know.
Why? I'm offended. Why?
Well, I mean, advertising, like at least the way that we used to use it in a marketing agency is like you created the piece of content and you
Sure.
want to like shape it up into different forms and put them into omni channels.
Yeah, vomit, but yeah.
And well, it's only vomit because it's a very industry term, but the act of it is very normal, right? Like,
Yeah.
you're trying to make sure that people see your art in a way that is sensible for the media channel they're using, right?
Yeah,
So,
but
for example, if
it's
you have a
also
long video, you make it short for TikTok or something.
yeah, it's like a resource efficiency thing. We
Yeah.
make this long hour-long thing
Mhm.
ostensibly so we can make YouTube videos that are shorter. We don't really do that anymore, or at least not for now. And then we turn them into shorts too. You take one thing, make it into a bunch. Got it. I'm
Mhm.
there.
Yeah. So is that what you're saying in terms
No,
of like?
not even a little bit.
Oh, okay. What do you mean then?
It is very much a essence thing, not a practical thing.
Oh,
The idea
essence.
being, yeah. I mean, if you do something and there's not an action element in it,
Mm-hmm.
it's slop. Like like the like what I'm trying to say is if I write something
Mm-hmm.
in this framing, I'm either trying to communicate something to affect other people, or I'm trying to explore how to affect myself.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some things that I've done that don't do either of those things. And when I look at those things, I'm like, why did I write that? Like what did I get out of this?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I actually think this definition that I'm like, it's top of mind because I read this yesterday. I think it feels like one of these like aha moments for me of if there's not going to be some sort of action out of it, it's motion. It's not art.
It's not emotion.
No, it's just doing something. And like there's nothing wrong with doodling.
Is it possible to make something without being affected by it?
Yes, 100%. Have you
Well,
ever written a prompt?
like what? And I'm like, what kind of prompt? Like,
Any Sora thing created in the past 3 weeks?
I have not. I'm so proud of myself.
But okay,
Yeah.
so
I understand what you mean. It's like something that the intentionality is lacking, right?
yeah, and it's more like audience capture is that lack of action.
Mm.
And so if you are making a thing to fit somebody else's expectations,
Mm-hmm.
it's not doing anything for you, it's not doing anything for them, and that might be part of the reason why it falls flat.
Doesn't this go back to the whole PDA thing? Because it is the drive for autonomous, as in like, high agency belonging to one's intentions way of creating.
I don't know because I didn't even know that PDA wasn't public displays of affection anymore, if I'm being honest.
Okay. So no slop.
Yeah, I mean, like it's basically it's a check. It's like a gut check of okay, I'm working on this thing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what am I doing with it? The Rosenberg was writing about the context of modern art. You know what I mean? He kind of like modern art was like derogatory because it came also with this tidal wave of mass-produced stuff that people could buy now.
Mm-hmm.
And so the joke about modern art is like, oh, I could do that, but you didn't, like, and, splatters on a paper, anybody can do a version of that. AI slop, anybody can do a version of that. But the specific manifestation that exists, if it's not like acting, if it doesn't have like the woo of the creator in there, it's not a thing that really matters to anyone ever.
Mm-hmm.
And if it doesn't matter to anyone ever, nothing matters, blah, 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 big picture, samsara, whatever. But if you're not doing a thing that matters to you or you're intentionally trying to inflict meaning on somebody else, it's probably not worth doing or at least categorizing as something that's like, I don't know, holy in the sense of pulling source or whatever you want to call your creative process.
So is anything that you do that fits into that category? I feel like,
That doesn't meet the bar.
yeah.
I've written like if I go back and look at my early essays, I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of them kind of fall into that bucket. Like because you start out trying to emulate other writers and whatever, and so I had a bunch of, I would say like maybe a little bit better than LinkedIn slop, but definitely that flavored that I don't really care about now, which is why I want to go back and take the nuggets of intentionality out of them
Mm-hmm.
and like make them into better essays with that piece. So I think that
Well, isn't that just your natural? I mean, I feel like at the time of writing, there was like, given the circumstances at the time, it was already maximal intentionality, and it's just that you have evolved as a person. Therefore, the piece can evolve.
I mean, the implication that I evolved, like, that implies that there is somewhere to evolve to, which still means it was not a valuable thing at the time, even if I thought it was.
Huh?
This is like a roundabout like we're having the same argument of like, I don't think all art is equal. And sometimes we argue about that.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Like basically what I'm saying is like some things mean more than others and
Mhm.
people can disagree about that, but I think they're wrong.
Okay.
Do you think
So,
some people have more depth than other people?
well, I feel like this is, very tangential to what we're talking about, but it
I mean,
reminds me
that's
of
the
like,
show.
I know, this new tangent is I was learning about this Japanese artist called Matsumoto Hoji, who drew frogs. You know that very stereotypical Japanese ink painting with frog with a little like frowny face.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Apparently, he was like a person who made like the canvases themselves, the scrolls, like a scrolls craftsman who just did it for fun because
Cool.
he loved frogs. So that's all he did was he painted like frogs in a million iterations, and he
Yeah.
was never considered like a good artist compared to like the Great Wave and all of these like more famous things that got passed down. But he
Yep.
kind of had an accidental revival because somebody recently discovered his art, and they kind of like made him into almost like a Pepe like meme. So
Okay.
now his art is like pop art again. So like at the time it's like a lot of his stuff didn't feel like he enjoyed it himself,
Mm-hmm.
got no accolades, probably
Sure.
was not seen as like, it was probably seen as slop by a lot of
Yeah.
art critics at the time, but like it has an enduring quality unto its own. So I feel like in that, it's like, to me, every single thing that someone makes, given the right context, can have meaning.
That's a different thing than what we're talking about, though. And
It is.
also, we are like, are we defining things by how people receive them? Because that's like
I
an
know.
element through which to judge things on. But if
Yeah, so
somebody,
yeah, like, let's just forget about the receiving part, but it's
yeah,
like, if that person at the time enjoyed what they're making,
yeah.
then that's great. But yeah, I feel like where it is not art is where you're doing it to meet some other goal that's set by, other people.
I mean, but then that implies commissioned work is never art.
Well, that is debated, right?
I mean,
It
I think that
craft.
that doesn't make sense to me because then the entire history of Renaissance art isn't art because it's all
That's true.
patrons.
Yeah. Well,
I
then
mean,
then how can we define it, right?
I think that there is a indivisible intrinsic aspect to you when you're creating it and only the artist will ever know. And maybe
Mhm.
that's the only thing that ever matters with it. Obviously, we got to make money and eat food and not die and all that kind of stuff, but
Mhm.
like if you make stuff and it doesn't matter to you, like what are you doing, dude?
Mhm.
I like all of the things notwithstanding about like you got to make money and not starve, like I said, but I don't know. I just think striving towards this, like I'm trying to act with this thing that I'm making is really compelling. But there's a recency bias too, because I just discovered this concept last night.
So, to wrap it up, to get back to what you were saying, you
Yep.
want everything you create to not lose the magical essence.
I, yeah, I want to dig my step well deep enough that I can always find like that cup, that like pail of water I need to make things.
Mhm.
And all of the things that I make, I want to be in some way, shape, or form like deliberate and facilitating this like action on hopefully other people, but like myself when that's not really possible. Like this novella that I'm working on, I'm writing it because I think people haven't really thought about a lot of the things with AI. Like they read a headline about it, they complain in comments, but I don't think they've really nuts and bolts thought through how interacting with something that feels pretty real is going to be when it's
Mhm.
like, 50% better than it is today. But also, I'm trying to emotionally process my interactions with this thing in the
Mhm.
context of making things and how it can spit out, 10,000 words. But is it the 10,000 words that needs to be said at that time? Like, who knows?
Can't wait to read it. Can't
All
wait
right.
for y'all to read it.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for stopping by. We got to end very sharply, 2 minutes late today. We will see you next week, 11 o'clock Eastern Time, 8 a.m. Pacific, and we'll